Hello, sweet friends. Welcome back for another few chapters in our adventure of James and the Giant Peach. Yesterday, we left James and his newfound insect friends on top of the peach. They've already freaked out multiple times. Sinking, turns out they weren't sinking. Starving, turns out they're not going to starve. They have a whole peach that would take them forever to eat. But they are out in the middle of the ocean or in the middle of the sea. So it turns out they've all calmed down. They're all back together again. They've escaped the horrid place that they were, and they think they're in a better place. So far, so good, right? So they're all sitting on top of the peach, eating handfuls of the most delectable, delicious, juicy peach any of them have ever tasted. Centipede just finished singing his song about all the very interesting things that he's eaten, but he said he would give them all up just to be able to eat more of this peach for the rest of his life. So we are now on chapter 19. "Look," cried the centipede, just as they were finishing their meal. "Look at the funny thin black thing gliding through the water over there." They all swung around to look. "There are two of them," said Miss Spider. "There are lots of them," said the ladybug. "What are they?" asked the earthworm, getting worried. "They must be some kind of fish," said the old green grasshopper. "Perhaps they've come along to say hello." "They are sharks," cried the earthworm. I'll bet you anything you like that they are sharks and they have come along to eat us up." "Absolute rot," the centipede said, but his voice seemed suddenly to have become a little shaky, and he wasn't laughing. "I am positive they're sharks," said the earthworm. "I just know they're sharks." Now, how does Earthworm know? Because he's blind. He's been listening to what they said, and do you think he's figured it out? Do you agree that they might be sharks coming to investigate what is in the water? All right, let's keep going and find out. And so, in actual fact, did everybody else, but they were too frightened to admit that they also thought they were sharks. There was a short silence. They all peered down anxiously at the sharks, who were cruising slowly round and round the peach. "Just assuming that they are sharks," the centipede said, "they still can't possibly be any danger if we stay up here." But as soon as he spoke, one of those thin black fins suddenly changed direction and came cutting swiftly through the water, right up beside the peach itself. The shark paused and stared up at the company with small, evil eyes. "Go away," they shouted. "Go away, you filthy beast." Slowly, almost lazily, the shark opened his mouth, which was big enough to have swallowed a perambular larder. Wait, hang on, let me try that again. Which was big enough to have swallowed a perambulator, which I'm not 100% sure I know what that is, and made a lunge at the peach. They all watched aghast. They're like, "Oh, I can't believe my eyes." And now, as though at a signal from the leader, all the other sharks came swimming in toward the peach, and they clustered around it and began to attack it furiously. There must have been 20 or 30 of them at least, all pushing and fighting and lashing their tails and churning the water into a froth. Panic and pandemonium broke out immediately on top of the peach. "Oh, we are finished now," cried Miss Spider, wringing her feet. "They will eat up the whole peach, and then there'll be nothing left for us to stand on, and they'll start eating us." "She's right," shouted the ladybug. "We are lost forever." "Oh, I don't want to be eaten," wailed the earthworm. So look, here are our friends on top of the peach, and look at the sharks at the bottom. They are beginning to take bites out of the peach. Did they see this coming? We still have these little black things in the sky in this picture. We've seen that a few times so far. What are those things? Is that more trouble coming? Let's see what they're going to do about the sharks. What do you think they should do? They're kind of stuck, aren't they? What would you do? All right, let's see what they're up to now. "But they will take me first of all, because I'm so fat and juicy and have no bones," said the earthworm. "Is there nothing we can do?" asked the ladybug, appealing to James. "Surely you can think of a way out of this." Suddenly, they were all looking at James. "Think," begged Miss Spider. "Think, James, think." "Come on," said the centipede. "Come on, James. There must be something we can do." Their eyes waited upon him, tense, anxious, pathetically hopeful. So look, here they are. They're staring at James. They don't know what to do. So far, he's had some pretty good answers to their other problems. But can James solve this problem? Chapter 20. "There is something that I believe we might try," James Henry Trotter said slowly. "I'm not saying it'll work." "Tell us," cried the earthworm. "Tell us quick." "We'll try anything you say," said the centipede, "but hurry, hurry, hurry." "Be quiet and let the boy speak," the ladybug said. "Go on, James." They all moved a little closer to him. There was a longish pause. "Go on," they cried frantically. "Go on." And all the time, while they were waiting, they could hear the sharks threshing around in the water below them. It was enough to make anyone frantic. "Come on, James," the ladybug said, coaxing him. I'm afraid it's no good after all," James murmured, shaking his head. "I'm terribly sorry. I forgot. We don't have any string. We would need hundreds of yards of string to make this work." "What sort of string?" the old green grasshopper asked sharply. "Any sort, just as long as it's strong." "But my dear boy, that's exactly what we do have. We've got all you want." "How? Where?" "The silkworm," cried the old green grasshopper. "Didn't you ever notice the silkworm? She's still downstairs. She never moves. She just lies there sleeping all day long. But we can easily wake her up and have her spin." "And what about me, may I ask?" said Miss Spider. "I can spin just as well as any silkworm. What's more, I can spin patterns." "Can you make enough between you?" asked James. "As much as you want." "And quickly?" Of course. "And would it be strong?" "The strongest there is, and as thick as your finger." "But why? What are you going to do?" "I'm going to lift this peach clear out of the water," James announced finally. "You're mad," said the earthworm. "It's our only chance." "The boy's crazy." "He's joking." "Go on, James," the ladybug said gently. "How are you going to do it?" "Sky hooks, I suppose," jeered the centipede. "Seagulls," James answered calmly. "This place is full of them. Look up there." They all looked up and saw a great mass of seagulls wheeling around and round in the sky. "I'm going to take a long silk string," James went on, "and I'm going to loop one end around a seagull's neck. Then I'm going to tie the other end to the stem of the peach." He pointed to the peach stem, which was standing up like a short, thick mast in the middle of the deck. "Then I'm going to get another seagull and do the same thing again. Then another and another." "Ridiculous," they shouted. "Absurd. Puppycock. Balderdash. Madness." And the old green grasshopper said, "How can a few seagulls lift an enormous thing like this up into the air as well as all of us? It would take hundreds, thousands." "There is no shortage of seagulls," James answered. "Look for yourself. We'll probably need 400, 500, 600, maybe even 1,000. I don't know. I shall simply go on hooking them up to the stem until we have enough to lift us. They'll be bound to lift us in the end. It's like balloons. You give someone enough balloons to hold. I mean really enough. Then up he goes. And the seagull has far more lifting power than a balloon. If only we had time to do it. If only we were not sunk by those awful sharks." So that is what those little black things in the sky are. Tons of seagulls. Here he is explaining it to the other insects. Now, here's the problem if you think about it. How is James going to get the seagulls to come close enough to the peach? Right now, they're really high up, and he's got to wrap the thread or the string or the silk or the web around their neck, kind of like a dog collar, and let them fly up. So what is his plan? How would you get the seagulls to come down closer? All right, let's see if you're right. "You're absolutely off your head," said the earthworm. "How on earth do you propose to get a loop of string around a seagull's neck? I suppose you're just going to fly up there yourself and catch it?" "The boy's dotty," said the centipede. "Let him finish," said the ladybug. "Go on, James. How would you do it? With bait. Bait? What sort of bait? With a worm, of course. Seagulls love worms. Didn't you know that? And lucky for us, we have here the biggest, fattest, pinkest, juiciest earthworm in the world. You can stop right there, the earthworm said sharply. That's quite enough. Go on, the other said, beginning to grow interested. Go on. The seagulls have already spotted him, James continued. That's why there are so many of them circling around. But they daren't come down to get him while the rest of us are standing here. So that is what... Stop! Cried the earthworm. Stop, stop, stop! I won't have it. I refuse. Be quiet, said the centipede. Mind your own business. I like that. My dear earthworm, you're going to be eaten anyway, so what's the difference whether it's a shark or the seagulls? I won't do it, he said. Why don't we hear the rest of the plan first, said the old green grasshopper. I don't give a hoot what the plan is, cried the earthworm. I'm not going to be pecked to death by a bunch of seagulls. You will be a martyr, said the centipede. I shall respect you for the rest of my life. So will I, said Miss Spider, and your name will be in all the newspapers. Earthworm gives life to save friends. But he won't have to give his life, James told them. Now listen to me. This is what we'll do. And that's the end of chapter 20. Now, why is Earthworm so upset about this plan? If you were the earthworm, would you be upset as well? Now, James hasn't given a chance. Now, if he's trying to catch 1,000 seagulls, can he allow Earthworm to be eaten right away? Or even at all? Earthworm is his friend. Would you allow your friend to be eaten by something? Do you feel like James has a pretty good plan in his head that he's about to share with them to try to make Earthworm calm down a little bit? It turns out Earthworm may be their only hope. So what do you think is going to happen next? Find someone in your house today and tell them what James's plan is to get the peach out of the water away from the sharks. And how do you think he is going to keep Earthworm from getting eaten in this plan? I hope you enjoyed this part of our adventure in James and the Giant Peach, and I will see you again soon. Have a great day. Bye.